Hello TRS, I'm recording you this video about how to view the data of TM tracking tool, but also how to use that data. If today is the 5th of March, because as we promised before, everyone should view the monthly data every 5th of the month. So you go to the tracking tool, you see a TM template. So what you need to do is first up, view the monthly actual data of talent capacity and retention rate of last month. So what you need to do is put the HR you have in each TMP and TLP of each area of last month, which is February. No matter they're active or inactive, once they're still in the LC, you put in the actual data, because it also reflects about your HR codes. And then what you need to do for the actual data of the total TMP and TLP, you just sum up all of them. But remember, one thing is for total TLP is not including about EB team. For retention rate here, actual retention rate of the February, what you need to do is you check about some of the TMP and TLP you have in February, sum up them, and you divide the total TMP and TLP you have of January. And remember, the retention rate should be the percentage. So what about the monthly plan data of talent capacity and retention rate of March? What you need to do is the same theory, not based on how many HR you think will stay from last month, but based on the operation goal of this month and productivity of this quarter you set. Plan how many HR you needed. And for the retention rate, you should base on the status of the current members, inactive may leave, and to predict how many TMP and TLP will stay by the end of March. So what you need to do is that the February actual data actually reflecting how many HR you are continue at the beginning of the March. So here, the actual data of March is showing that by the end of March, how many HR still continue there. So, but this data it only can use by prediction, but not the actual one you have. So that's how you plan the retention rate for this part. So what if there is a gap between these two data? For example, what I plan for the HR in March and then what the actual HR I have at the beginning of March are not matching, which means ongoing recruitment should also be your solution, and for retention rate is the same. You should work on how to improve the retention rate for this part. The next data is called TSP standard implementation. How you can actually going to view the actual TSP standard implementation of February in this column. So what you need to do is that step 1, every leader of the team, no matter VP or team leader, has at least one assessment in each month. Please do take into consideration the EB team, because the LCP should be the team leader. The VP to the team leader, actually the VP are the leader of the team. And some LC have the VP directly lead the member, so more or less the VP are the leader of the team. They should also need to assess. So what you need to do is that, as you can see from checklist, what we have, I showed you guys before, is that here are all the statements. What you need to do, they just put the 0 or 1 here by the end with the formula here. You can actually calculate the percentage of the implementation rate. And this is the actual one you will have here. So once you've done every single team, you take the average implementation rate of the LC as an actual data, and you put this actual data of the TSP standard. You see here, imagine if our LC a free team. So in the dashboard, you can actually put 70%. If they do it, 70% of each team, you take the average of each team. It should be also 70%, which should be the number you put here. And for the plan data, so based on the actual assessment of last month, check what needs to be improved for this month. What should be the change as one? And you have the plan implementation rate of each team. For example, I see team A. Their actual percentage is 70%, and I see that there is some element here is not fulfilled by last month, and this month they should have already finished them. So I will change here based on my plan, and this should be their plan percentage. And same theory, dashboard, you have the plan percentage as average data of the whole LC, and which you can put in the plan part of March. So this data is actually helped you to understanding the trend of the implementation rate. Because once we align the team cycle, Q4, Q1, Q2, Q3, you can actually understand better based on the stage of the team cycle, how should be the implementation rate growing and how should be refreshing. So the trend of the implementation rate between the months can actually tell you about how is the TLP empowerment going on and how is the micro point of view about team management. Another one is how to view the ISP and reintegration. So you just put your monthly actual data of February last month and what you plan to have it in March. It reflects about your operation synergy with OGS. Reintegration is that what you're going to do with the GCP and GIP EP in the brand advocacy stage. ISP is how we can actually boost the exchange by synergy between TM and exchange area. What if today is the 5th of April, the start of the Q2? So except for your monthly data, usually the first month of each quarter, you also need to view the quarterly data, which means for the productivity. So first step, what you need to do is that you go to the operation template, which is also same in your LC tracking tool. How are the operation go? We're tracking about realization of GCP, realization of IGCP, and approval of GIP, which was matched before. So what do you need to do? Let's take OGCP as an example. What is actually the productivity of Q1? What you need to do is you go to check about the realization of Q1 of OGCDP, and then understand how many TMB and TLB you have in total working for this area. Same theory about formula, productivity equals to exchange divided for the HR. And how you do the plan for the Q2 productivity. You check about the plan of the exchange realization here and the plan HR you have here, and then you have the quarterly productivity goal. If they have a gap, which means that you also need to work for a solution for improving the productivity. So when I update my own LC tracking tool, what magic will happen is we have the national centralized automatically to have all the data. So what you see from here, this is a January one. We have all the else here, all the data, once you fill the data, they will automatically come to this national one. So from my side, in January, only Trento, Trieste, Venezia are actually fill the tool completely. But in the February one, actually no one. So I suggest you to do is fix the monthly data of January and February by the end of February. And also remember the deadline of March 1 is the 5th of the March. View it at the beginning of the month among the range of 1st and 5th, but not take it super early, otherwise the data is not that effectively. So once you're able to view the data and also you're understanding how to use the data, you will know how to report your work to your LCP and how to measure your success as a TM. And also it's connected to the national award for this part. And that's it from my side. If you have more questions, just approach me and let me know what I can support you for this side. Ciao, ciao.